Let me get prepared. Hello? Is it hot to y'all in here? It's probably because it's summer, reckon? You know, because it is hot, that means it's vacation time, don't it? Anybody been on their vacation yet? Buddy, y'all are a hut-to bunch, ain't you? Well, see, I refuse to go on vacation because my husband took me on one last year, and it was like one of those National Lampoon vacations. Know what I mean? Nothing went right. He took me to Florida, and we stayed at the Holiday Inn. When we walked in down there, I knew we was doomed because they was having the Miss Florida Beauty Contest. Y'all know what those women wear when they have those? Bikinis. And we walked in, and instantly, they started walking in front of us. Those pretty women, those little old tiny things, in their bikinis. Well, my husband and I both was saying things and making noises about them, but it was different what we were saying. Like, one would walk by, and he'd go, ugh. And as soon as she'd get by, I'd go, bitch. Because nobody likes nobody looks like that. So anyway, he was looking at them, and I said, baby, I got the same thing they got. And he said, well, there's a slight difference. I said, what? He said, do you see that one right there? The Miss Current Florida walked by. And he said, her bathing suit, hope nobody's a doctor. Her bathing suit is so small on the backside, all they can get is Miss FLA period. Baby, backside of your bathing suit would be so big you could write Miss Cindy Gantt, P.O. Box 607, Bessemer, Alabama. But see, that really wasn't the worst part about the vacation. We went on up and checked into our room, and once we got up there, he decided he wanted to go swimming. So he put on his cut-off shorts. Now, he goes, what I think, down to the pool, and he comes back up, but he's not wet. Been gone 15 minutes. I said, what happened? He said, they throwed me out of the pool. I said, what? He said, they threw me out. I said, well, why? He said, they said I peed in the pool. And I said, well, because I'm the vocal one of the two, I said, come with me, I'll get to the bottom of this. So we go back down there, and I find the little lifeguard. I said, I want to know why you threw my husband out of this pool. He said, ma'am, because he peed in it. And I said, well, how do you know all those other people out there didn't pee in the pool too? He said, ma'am, your husband's the only one that did it off the high dive. So you just can't take him nowhere. But see, there's something y'all don't know about him. He's a smart aleck. And I will admit it, I married a smart aleck. The other day, I had a gynecological appointment, and I come home, and the doctor has showed me how to examine my breasts. So anyway, I was in the bedroom, naked from the waist up, and was examining my breast, and my husband come in. He said, woman, what are you doing? I said, I want you to know, I went to the doctor today, and he told me I had the breast of a 19-year-old woman. And he said, well, what'd he say about that 35-year-old ass of yours? I said, we didn't even talk about you. See, folks, sometimes you got to put them in their place. Now, let me tell you, let me get something straight right here before I go any further and my time runs out. There is no such thing as fat people, hefty people, or large people. It's big boned. Now, do I hear an amen? God, that's the biggest laugh I got yet. Anyway, and the reason I say that, my husband says, I say, it's big bone, baby. He said, well, it's that big meat wrapped around those big bones. But you know, he's a smart aleck. Well, he told me there was two things that he could not stand to see a big bone person wear. One was spandex, which that goes without saying, that's kind of vulgar, you know. The second is a jogging suit. And I said, now, wait a minute. I love to wear jogging suits. He said, yeah, baby, but putting a jogging suit on a big bone person would be about like putting a racing stripe down a Yugo. You know, it just don't go together. But, so just to spite him, I go and I put on my jogging suit. We're going to his mother's to eat. And I said, baby, I'll meet you down there. I'm going to jog. Well, he comes in down there. My lungs had done, collapse. I'm laying on the floor. And about 10 minutes later, when I came to, he was sitting there. And I said, aren't you proud of me? I jogged half a mile all the way down here. I'm so proud of myself. And his mother said, yeah, Ray, you should be proud of her. She jogged a half a mile. He said, yeah, but she would have jogged another 2 miles, but she lost that ice cream truck. See, that ain't so. But see, I get him back, like I said, and the best place to get your husband back in is bed. Now, I ain't going to be vulgar here. Probably want me to, though, don't you? But see, best place to do it is in bed. And the way we have a wonderful sex life is we play these little games. Like, we call our private parts major appliances. Like, we're laying in bed one night, and he reaches over and grabs me, and he says, "Hey, baby, what's that?" I said, "Well, that's my washing machine." I grabbed him and said, "Baby, what's that?" He said, "Well, that's my dirty laundry, baby. You want to do some dirty laundry tonight?" So we have sex. Next night, same thing. He reaches over and he grabs me. He says, "Hey, baby, what's that?" I said, "Still my washing machine." Reach over and grab him and said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, I got some more dirty laundry. Would you like to do some more dirty laundry tonight?" And I said, "Well, if you don't have any more to do tonight than you did last night, you can do this load out by hand." But see, talking about big bone people, the worst experience of my life has been wearing a latex girdle. Now, it's bad enough having to get your husband and yourself both to get the thing on you, but coming out of it is what's the problem. I got it on and decided I wanted that thing off. And we got it halfway down, and he took a step back and he said, "Baby," he said, "I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I got to tell you something. When you come out of that thing, there's so much flesh flying, you look like you're opening up a can of biscuits. You know, the kind you whop on the counter?" But see, like I said, I married a smart aleck. His family warned me about him. They really did. His sister said that when he was little, he was peeping through the peephole of his mom and daddy's bedroom and looked real upset. She said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Look in there and tell me what they're doing." She said, "Well, they're having sex. That's what parents do when they love each other." He looked in there again. He looked real disgusted and started to walk off. She said, "What is wrong with you?" He said, "Would you believe that is the same bitch that whipped me yesterday for sucking my thumb?" That's pretty gross, ain't it? Well, I'm glad y'all get that. I'd be worried about you if you didn't. Probably the worst joke I know about this girl went down to Big B looking for some batteries. She goes in and says, "Hey, I'm looking for some batteries." And the little man behind the counter says, "Come with me." And she said, "Buddy, if I could come with you, I wouldn't need no batteries." Thank you. Don't get that on TV.
Our first comedian, Cindy Gantt. Give it up for Cindy again. Our second comedian is originally from Brooklyn, New York.
And I'm going to go ahead and bring the first person up right now. She was the first, she was the runner-up for the Birmingham Laugh-Off, and she was the winner of the 1989 Comic Relief in Birmingham.
Please welcome Cindy Gantt.
And you can tell them if anybody's wanted by the FBI and the police, they better get out of there because they're going to be on TV. Hello?
Let's see.
Is it hot here? It's probably because of summer, reckon? You know, because it is hot, that means it's vacation time, don't it? Anybody been on their vacation yet? But y'all are a hook too much, ain't you? Well, see, I refuse to go on vacation because my husband took me on one last year, and it was like one of those National Lampoon vacations. You know what I mean? Nothing went right. He took me to Florida, and we stayed at Holiday Inn. When we walked in down there, I knew we was doomed because they was having the Miss Florida Beauty Contest. Y'all know what those women wear when they have those? Bikinis. And we walked in, and instantly they started walking was saying things and making noises about them, but it was different what we were saying. Like, when we walked by, and he'd go, ugh. And as soon as she'd get by, I'd go, bitch. Nobody likes nobody who looks like that. See, anyway, he was looking at him, and I said, baby, I got the same thing they got. And he said, well, there's a slight difference. I said, what? He said, do you see that one right there? And this car in Florida walked by. And he said, her bathing suit, hope nobody's doctor. Her bathing suit is so small on the backside, all they can get is Miss FLA period. Baby, backside of your bathing suit would be so big you could write Miss Cindy Gantt. P.O. Box 607 Western. You see, that really wasn't the worst part about the vacation. We went on up and checked into our room, and once we got up there, he decided he wanted to go swimming. So he put on his cut-off shorts. Now, he goes, what I think down to the pool, he comes back up, but he's not wet. Been gone 15 minutes. I said, what happened? He said, they threw me out of the pool. I said, what? He said, they threw me out. I said, well, why? He said, they said I peed in the pool. And I said, well, because I'm the vocal one of the two, I said, come with me, I'll get to the bottom of this. So we go back down there, and I find the little lifeguard. I said, I don't know why you threw my husband out of this pool. He said, ma'am, because he peed in it. And I said, well, how do you know all those other people out there didn't pee in the pool, too? He said, ma'am, your husband's the only one that did it off the high dad. See, you just can't take him nowhere. And see, there's something y'all don't know about him. He's a smart aleck. And I will admit it, I married a smart aleck. The other day, I had a gynecological appointment, and I come home, and the doctor showed me how to examine my breasts. So anyway, I was in the bedroom, naked from the waist up, and was examining my breast, and my husband come in. He said, woman, what are you doing? I said, I want you to know, I went to the doctor today, and he told me I had the breast of a 19-year-old woman. And he said, well, what did he say about that 35-year-old ass of yours? I said, we didn't even talk about you.
Naturally, I would like to go someplace with it. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a wonderful way to make a living, you know, making people laugh.
See, I'm getting back, like I said, and the best place to get your husband back in is bed. And I ain't going to be vulgar here. Probably want me to, though, don't you? You see, the best place to do it is in bed. And the way we have a wonderful sex life is we play these little games. Like we call our private parts major appliances. Like we're laying in bed one night and he reaches over and grabs me and he says, hey baby, what's that? I said, well, that's my washing machine. I grabbed him and said, baby, what's that? He said, well, that's my dirty laundry, baby. You want to do some dirty laundry tonight? So we have sex. Next night, same thing. He reaches over and he grabs me and says, hey baby, what's that? I said, still my washing machine. Reach over and grab him and said, what's that? And he said, well, I got some more dirty laundry. Would you like to do some more dirty laundry tonight? And I said, well, if you don't have any more to do tonight than you did last night, you can just load up my hand. God, y'all are ready to life, ain't you? Shh, I don't have but 5 minutes. Now listen, now that I got your attention, that was just a way to get your attention. Do I have it? Well, my name is Cindy, like she said, and I'm from Alabaster, just south of here. And I grew up on a farm. And then I married a husband, and he moved me to another farm. So, you know, I think I've done right well for myself. But anyway, living on a farm is very expensive. My husband complained because he had to spend $100,000 on a corn shucking machine. And that is just what you'd think it is. It's a machine that shucks corn. Well, $100,000, he said. Do I need to call 911? Anyway, we was out, and it came time to plant. So he had dug a bunch of holes, and I was going back and dropping seeds in it. And I noticed he was looking at me while I was bent over. And it wasn't real a nice look, you know. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I hate to tell you this, baby, but your tail is about as big as that corn shucking machine is over there. I ain't got the punchline yet. And anyway, I thought, well, that's not a nice thing to say, comparing my butt to a $100,000 corn shucking machine. Well, I decided I'd get back at him later, so that night we was in bed, and he got real close, and he said, hey, baby, how about it? And I said, well, how about what? He said, you know what I want. So I rolled over and I looked at him and I said, baby, do you actually expect me to crank up this $100,000 corn shucking machine for a half ear of corn? I don't think so. You think about it a little bit longer. I embarrassed myself. But see, I got a husband that complains about having to do anything. Are you like that? Well, I come home from work last week. The plumbing was messed up. I said, Ray baby, see, I call him Ray baby. I said, Ray baby, reckon you can fix the plumbing? He said, do you see Mr. Plumber written across my back? So I just went on, thought, well, he's having a bad day. Come home the next day, and my car wasn't running right. I said, Ray baby, you reckon you can fix my car? He said, do you see Mr. Auto Mechanic across my back? Well, come home the next day, and I couldn't see the cats because the grass was so high. I said, Ray, I can't check on the cats. You got to cut the grass. He said, do you see Mr. Leaf and Long Man across my back? And I just thought, God, he's just, how did I marry him twice, too? Well, he come in on that fourth day, and I was propped up on the couch. That means time's almost up. I was propped up on the couch, and he said, baby, I'm ready to do all those chores for you. I said, well, they're already done. He said, how are they already done? I said, Joe next door did them for me. He said, Joe did them for you. I said, yeah, Joe did them, didn't cost you a dime. He said, how's that? I said, he said that he'd either swap out sex or homemade cake. He said, what kind of cake did you bake him? I said, do you see Betty Crocker written across my back? God, this is fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's it makes you very energetic. It's like drinking 10 pots of coffee and shooting it intravenously. It gives you a real big high. It's just a lot of fun to do, and it's a good way to impress friends and relatives.
Let me go ahead before my time runs out and explain something to all you naive people here. There is no such thing as fat people, hefty people, or large people. It's big bone. And I told do I hear an amen from the ladies? I see some big bone people out there. And my husband said, well, it's that big meat wrapped around those big bones. But see, he's a smart ass, like I told you. Well, he told me there was two things he couldn't stand to see a big bone woman wear. Spandex, which the other fellas done gone over that with us. The other thing is a jogging suit. And I said, well, now, I love jogging suits. What's wrong with them? He said, well, it's kind of a contradictory. Putting a jogging suit on a big bone woman be like putting a racing stripe down a Yugo, you know? It just don't go together, you know? Did you see that? I hate going on first.
Why do you hate going first?
I have to warm the audience up. They're out there cold now, and they're waiting on somebody.
I should have known he was going to be a problem from the start because his sister warned me that as a child he was a heathen. She said that she caught him, he was about 5 years old, looking through the peephole of his mom and daddy's bedroom, and he looked mad. And she said, you better get away from there. He said, I don't want you to look in there and tell me what our parents are doing. So she looked in there and she said, well, they're making love. That's what mamas and daddies do when they care about each other. He looked in there again and he stormed off. She said, what is wrong with you? And he said, would you believe that's the same bitch that whipped me yesterday for sucking my thumb? But see, they just got it. I mean, maybe lack up. But see, his sister ain't no good either, you know? She always embarrasses me. We went to Big B, and I thought, now, she can't embarrass me in Big B. They look like I got a bucket of fried chicken over here, don't they? The buffet line starts right here. Anyway, she couldn't embarrass me in Big B, so we're standing in there. And I said, what you looking for? She said, some batteries. And I thought, well, so I just walked off a little bit. Well, a few minutes later, the man behind the counter came out, and he said, ma'am, can I help you? I said, well, it's her. She said, well, I'm looking for some batteries. And he said, well, come with me. And she said, buddy, if I could come with you, I wouldn't need no damn battery.
when they're laughing, oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful when you can make people laugh. And I believe that you don't necessarily have to be vulgar or dirty to be funny. Some of my favorite comedians are clean, and they're some of the world's best comedians. I'm just the type that I like to talk about things that goes on at my home or my husband. I do a lot around my husband and around growing up. I grew up just south of here in Alabaster, and I talk a lot about what I know, and I think you've got to, what you know is usually the funniest rather than trying something that you don't know. To me, funny is anything as long as it doesn't insult someone or hurt someone's feelings or does not necessarily tread below the belt. There's a such thing as going below the belt, and to me, anything above the belt line would be funny as long as it doesn't, like I said, hurt someone or offend someone. Funny is talking about things that everybody can relate to and understand, such as your in-laws, your husband, anything in general life that everybody has in common. You've got to speak to everybody and not just to the females or not just to the males or not just to the single or married. There's a wide variety out there, and to be good, I think that you've got to cover all of that, and that's what I try to do.
The worst experience of my life has been wearing a latex girdle. Now, it's bad enough having to get your husband and yourself both to get the thing on you, but coming out of it is what's the problem. I got it on, and decided I wanted that thing off. And we got it halfway down, and he took a step back and he said, "Baby," he said, "I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I got to tell you something. When you come out of that thing, there's so much flesh flying, you look like you're opening up a can of biscuits. Look how you walk on the counter." See, like I said, I'm here smart aleck.
Most people pray to be funny. I pray not to fall off stage.
So, just to spite him, I go and I put on my jogging suit. We're going to his mother's to eat. And I said, "Baby, I'll meet you down there. I'm going to jog." Well, he comes in down there. My lungs had done, collapsed. I'm laying on the floor. And about 10 minutes later, when I came to, he was sitting there. And I said, "Aren't you proud of me? I jogged half a mile all the way down here. I'm so proud of myself." And his mother said, "Yeah, right, you should be proud of her. She jogged a half a mile." He said, "Yeah, but she would have jogged another 2 miles, but she lost that ice cream truck." See, that ain't so. See, I get him back, like I said, and the best place to get your husband back in is bed. And I ain't going to be vulgar here. Probably want me to, though, don't you? Now, see, we have a wonderful sex life. We really do. You look like you doubt me. We really do. We have a wonderful sex life. And the reason we have that is we call our special parts names, like major appliances. We're laying in bed one night, and he reaches over and grabs me. He says, "Hey, baby, what's that?" I said, "Well, tonight it'll be my washing machine." So I reach and grab him and says, "What's that?" He says, "My dirty laundry." And he says, "You want to do my dirty laundry tonight, baby?" So I said, "Sure." Well, the next night, same thing. He said, "Baby, what's that?" I said, "Well, it's still my washing machine." So I grab him. I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, I got a little bit more dirty laundry to do. Would you like to do some more tonight, baby?" And I said, "Well, if you don't have any more to do tonight than you did last night, you can do this load out by hand." Well, we got a bunch of women here by themselves, and they like that.